Welcome to Real Estate Agent Superstars. From groundbreaking strategies to personal stories of triumph, we're here to uncover the secrets behind the success of the real estate industry's elite. And now, here is your host, R.J. Baxter.
Our guest today on the podcast is Jason Ahrens of Ascent Properties. He's been 7 years in the business, and he has taken his business to a great level. That's why I wanted to have him on, because his approach to the business is a really organic and awesome, authentic one. And he's here to share some of the things that he's done to be successful. So welcome to the show, Jason.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me, RJ.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about yourself to start off with. Where did you grow up and how did that affect who you became?
Okay. Well, I was born in Cocoa Beach, Florida, and I moved to Georgia when I was about 4 years old. And I grew up in a town called Conyers. It's just south of Atlanta. And
Okay.
I've, it was the kind of place where you leave your door unlocked and your neighbors don't need an invitation to come over. You know, if a neighbor needs a cup of sugar, they just walk in the house and grab a cup of sugar. So it was pretty tight knit community. You know, it's that Southern hospitality is real. You know, it's everybody's family. Everybody helps each other out, and that's how I grew up, and I still feel that way. So sometimes that mentality surprises people, and the way I was raised and the way I grew up, it's normal. It's what you do. You know, if a neighbor needs help building a fence, everybody pitches in and helps, and it's just what you do. It's what you have to do. You know, it's just bred into me. That's the way I am, and it's pretty cool. It surprises people sometimes. Sometimes it scares them.
Well, especially people if they grew up in a bigger city or a larger town.
Yeah. It was neat though. It's cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Yeah, I grew up in Iowa, and it was, not super small town in that way. Like you didn't lock your door, and pretty laid back. So I can relate to that.
Yeah.
But after moving to Denver, it's just different here. I mean,
well, it's different times now. I mean, I think if I was back in that same neighborhood in that same house, it'd be different, you know.
Right.
But,
different times too.
It's still the sense of community, but I probably wouldn't leave my door unlocked.
Yeah. So how did growing up in a small community like that and in the South, how did that affect who you became and how that eventually translated to being in the real estate business?
Well, I mean, the cool thing about it is everything's very hands-on, you know. So, I mean, if you need something, you learn how to do it, you know. I don't think anybody I knew had much money back then. So if your car breaks, you either figure out how to fix it or you find someone that knows how to fix it that you can kind of swap favors for. But I think it taught me a lot. It forced me to learn things. You know, had a lot of jobs, you know, anything from restaurant businesses to construction, and kind of did everything. And it's pretty cool because it taught me a lot. You know, I mean, if I needed to roof my house, I could roof my house. You know, if I needed to build a house, I could. You know, I mean, I choose to hire people to do things like that these days, but growing up that way, you just learn how to do everything that you need to do, and then once you do it, you know how to do it. So it's pretty cool because I kind of feel like a jack of all trades, you know, and that helps me. Whereas if I have a friend in need, I can jump in and help them out and do what needs to be done. Of course, if I need help, I hire somebody. But there's a lot of situations where, you know, I'm dealing with people that need a little help, and I kind of get my hands dirty. And you know, if I need to cut a tree down for a friend, I've owned a tree removal company, I've owned a stucco company, I've owned a construction company. Started my first company when I was 17 years old. I had a great mentor. I was young, and I was had a stucco job and learned the trade. And I asked my boss, I got to the point where I was at the maximum. I was making the most money that job paid, which was about $15 an hour. And I went to my boss, my mentor, and I just said, what do I do now? You know, I've maxed out the pay scale. Now what do I do? And he said, well, you start a stucco company and then I'll start subbing jobs for you. He had huge contracts. He's doing all these $6 million homes in Augusta. But it was pretty cool. I mean, it lined me up the right way. It was Mike Blackstone with Natural Plastering in Georgia. His company's still going strong. But yeah, he told me, he said, start a business and I'll feed you. So I was 17 years old. I own a big stucco company now. Never had to look for work. I had one huge house after another. And I did that for a while. I did it for a long time. And then until I won't get into this story, but I ended up kind of falling into the tree business. Started selling jobs in the tree business and then realized that there's a lot of money in that business. So I opened a tree company in Atlanta, and that did very well. And, long story short, I came to visit family in Colorado, fell in love with Colorado, had no idea what I was going to do. Ended up getting into the car business. A little bit after that, I owned 3 stores, 3 used car lots of my own. And it was great. It was fun. And then it got to the point where I just didn't have any spare time. It took too much out of me. I didn't have any time for my family. And I actually took a year hiatus. I stopped doing what I was doing, took a year off to figure things out, took some nice vacations, and talking to my wife, and I said, I don't want to lose this lifestyle. I need the income, but what can I do that will help people and give me more control of my time without sacrificing the money that I'm used to making? Because I made good money in the car business. And she said, real estate, like immediately, like no thought, like, well, real estate, why don't you be a realtor? So the next day I signed up for the class and became a realtor. And I loved it. And here I am. And it was a good decision.
Awesome. How did she spot that or know about that just right off the bat like that?
Well, she was a realtor while she was going to school to be a nurse. She's now a nurse practitioner, and yeah, she does really well. She's smart. But yeah, she just said real estate's perfect for you. You'd be great at it. Your background is sales, and you should be a realtor. So I figured, all right, let me jump right in. I'm not like, let's draw out plans and, mark the calendar. I'm more, okay, I'm going to be a realtor. Let me sign up for the class and dive in. So I did. And it's been really good. It's been great. I've been able to take pretty much all my relationships that I've built over the years and brought them with me into real estate. So had a lot of people in the car business that trusted me to help them with their purchases. And when I got into real estate, the first thing I did is let all my friends and family and acquaintances know that, hey, I'm in real estate now. And, I had clients reach out from my years in the car business. I had clients reach out and say, hey, you know what? I know you're new in real estate, but I know that I trust your integrity and I know who you are and what you are. And even though you're new, I want you to represent me and I want to do business with you. So it's pretty cool. It's like, my whole life I've just really not, well, I wouldn't say my whole life. I kind of matured into it as far as doing the right thing. I think when I started my first business, I realized how important it was to do what you say you're going to do and take care of people and do a great job and really build up your reputation so people know that you're honest and you're going to do the right thing. And that's a big key factor with business. It's actually relationships is what's gotten me to where I am today, is building strong relationships and doing the right thing 100% of the time. There's, as long as you do the right thing 100% of the time, then you'll never have to look for work no matter what your business is. You do a good job, you answer the phone, you do what you say you're going to do. And when things go south and get wrong, instead of running and hiding, you jump in front and take the bullet and do whatever it takes to make sure that whoever hired you is successful in whatever they hired you to do. It's not just real estate. It's just taking care of your people and protecting those relationships. And that's kind of what's got me where I am today is making that number one.
Yeah, and that's what I love about you is you're so authentic, and it's just every client is. I'm sure that from their perspective, they just feel that special connection with you because of the attention you give them and how much empathy you have for what they're going through, and that's really unique. I mean, there's not. I mean, there are other people that operate that way, but you have a certain way about it that's just very connecting. So I can see how that's served you well, and I know you. I don't mean that by that you're doing it on purpose for the purpose
No,
of
I
building
understand.
business. It is authentic, so that's really
Yeah,
cool. Have you know Gary Vaynerchuk?
I've heard the name. I don't know.
He's like a influencer, speaker, social media guy,
Okay.
and he has a marketing agency. He has a lot of really cool quotes, but there's one I thought of when you mentioned doing the right thing. He says, uh, "Doing the right thing," or something like, "Doing the right thing is always the right thing."
Yeah, absolutely.
So, which I think, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're conflicted on what to do, just do the right thing.
Yeah. And sometimes doing the right thing, it gets expensive, and that's where people have to think about it. But if you just program yourself to say that I'm going to do the right thing every time, no matter what, or no matter how much it cost me, it'll pay you back, you know?
That's right. So something that you do really well too is your network outside of just your clients is really strong, and that's something that you emphasize in your business. We've talked about that before off camera, and
Yeah.
tell me a little bit more about that. How that's developed over time, and the kinds of things that you do to foster that network.
Yeah. I mean, I've been told before that, actually my sister's told me this, and got a lot of respect for her too. And she's told me before that my number one trait is my loyalty, and also it's the best thing about me and it's the worst thing about me, because sometimes it hurts. Sometimes I put too much loyalty into people that aren't as loyal to me. But for the most part, I've got a lot of great friends and great business contacts, tradesmen. My years in the car business, I still have all my connections in the car business. And once I make a connection and I feel like, yeah, we're on the same page, we align. You're going to do the right thing 100% of the time too. So you're in my network, whether you know it or not. Now you're in my network, and what my network comes with is pretty amazing. What comes with my network is trust, honesty, loyalty, and I've built so many relationships, professional relationships. Say for example, I've got a handyman, which I've had the same handyman for, I don't know, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now he does a lot of, if I have inspection resolution work that needs to be done, I just call him and send him the resolution and say, go fix everything. But when we met, he worked full time at a machine shop and he was a part-time handyman.
Hmm.
His name's Jeff Harless, Colorado home doctor. And he would keep a credit card of mine and keys to every one of my properties, with my rental houses. And if something went wrong, I would just call him and say, "Hey, Jeff, I need help here." And the way it works is Jeff knows that I'm going to be a steady line of business for him, and he treats me different. I remember one time I called him, and I mean, if I need a deck built, whatever I need, Jeff's got me handled. And I remember one time I called him and I didn't realize how late it was. I think it was like 11 o'clock on a Sunday. And I had a long day. I just came home. I was thinking it was like 9 o'clock. And I called him up and I said, "Hey, man, what's going on?" And I could tell I woke him up. And he goes, "Oh, just putting my boots on because I know you're about to tell me that somebody's house is leaking or there's a problem." So, I mean, he's in a dead sleep 11 o'clock Sunday night. And when I call him, he's like, "Oh, shoot, Jason needs something. Let me put my boots on and go." But it works both ways, like
Mhm.
I'm going to answer my phone, and if there's an emergency or there's a problem and somebody needs my help, then I'm going to jump in and help them out. But I've got a whole network of people like that, I mean, I've got I use McWilliams Roofing, Seth McWilliams, one of the best roofers in the business. If I've got a closing coming up and for some crazy reason all of a sudden I need a roof on a house within a week, it's going to get done. It's almost to the point where I can tell my folks, look, we're going to figure this out. It's a big deal. I'm going to relay that to my people. They're going to know it's a big deal, and they're going to move things around in their schedule to make sure we get it done. I don't take advantage of that, but if I'm in a pinch and I need something done immediately, then I'm going to pull those resources and say, hey, I do need this done today. Or I'll call my HVAC company, Altitude, and hey, I need you guys out here. I know it's Sunday and I'm closing on Monday, but something just came up and I need it done. But it works out because, I feed them business. And then on top of that, when if I sell you a house, or if I'm representing you to sell a house, or if you're my new client and we're going to find a house and you're going to buy a house, then you get my connections, you get my team, you get my network, and it's funny. It's what people don't realize is when they're going through and they're trying to choose the right realtor for their situation, the realtor is also interviewing them to see if, do I want to work with you? Do I want to help you? Are you negative Nancy and everything that could go wrong is going to go wrong?
Right.
Or are you positive and optimistic and you want to, jump in and trust me to do what I do? And we're going to work together, and, whether it's getting you top dollar for the house you're selling, or getting you a great deal on the perfect house for you to live in, you're in my club now. You're in my network. You're going to get my contractors. And what happens is, I still have people that call me if they need a windshield. They got a cracked windshield in their car. Jason, I know you have connections. Where do I go? Or if they want to buy a car, hey, do you know anybody at this dealership? Yeah, absolutely, I do. I know the owner. I know the general manager. Go in and talk to this guy. Those relationships just, I don't know. It's a wonderful thing, because if I send you to a car lot to buy a car, I'm going to send you to somebody I trust, and they're going to take great care of you. They're going to give you the best deal they possibly can. It's going to be like if their mom wants to buy a car, you're going to get the same deal they would give their mom. And all these relationships and all these years of I'm here for you and you're here for me, and let's respect each other and help each other and always do the right thing. It's powerful, and it basically what it does, it keeps everyone busy. Colorado Home Doctor no longer works in a machine shop. He is full-time Colorado Home Doctor. He's always busy.
That's cool.
Whenever I have another realtor or sometimes I'm selfish with them. I'll be honest with you. I'm pretty picky on who I share. Sometimes I might say, I don't know. You might have to Google somebody. But if I feel like you're a great person, we align, then yeah, man, let me share my network with you. Let me introduce you to my people. And I see Jeff pulling in and out of my neighborhood all the time, because the word has spread throughout my neighborhood to where if anybody needs a deck or they need a repair done, they're calling Jeff. But I've got people for everything. If your house floods, I've got the company to come help out with that. Not only that, but I also purchased a few of those carpet fans that I keep in storage. So if I have a client that gets a flooded basement, first thing I do is introduce them to Uriah at my restoration company. And first thing I do is make the introduction. Next thing I do is go to my storage unit, pick up my fans, and drop them off and say, now you don't have to rent fans. You can use these as long as you need to. And I never had a flood in my house. I bought those fans to be able to help my clients. I think I had a client that had a basement flood. So I went out and bought some fans, so they had fans and they didn't have to pay the $25 a day or $50 a day to rent the fans.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how did you build the network or decide who to add to that? Are there particular character traits you look for in people you work with, or how do you decide?
Yeah, there's character traits. If I do business with you once and it goes really well, and you do everything you say you're going to do, and I would hire you to work on my house or my cars, then I'm gonna get to know you better, and and I'm possibly going to refer you business and see where our relationship goes from there. But also, if I do business with you and you, I mean, honestly, if you do the slightest thing wrong, I'm probably never going to call you again. I hate to say it. Now, if you've got a proven track record with me and we're all good. I remember I had a carpet cleaning company one time do a job for me. And as soon as the job was done, they asked my client for a tip. And I was like,
Really?
dang it, I can't use that carpet company. I trust them. I like them. They're great, but can't use them because that's not how I roll. It's you say this is the price I'm charging and that's the price it is. And we're not going to nickel and dime anybody for more money when the job's done. It's I'm not big on nickel and diming. I'm a big picture guy. I'm a relationship person.
Yeah.
I might do a deal with you today and I might not make any money. I might represent you to buy a house, or I might represent you to sell a house. And I've done this plenty of times. We do the whole deal and the house doesn't appraise, and we're short about the same amount my commission is. And to me, it's like, well, I've got a fiduciary duty to you, and I've still got this money over here. Maybe if I throw that in, everything works out and we're good, and you get a house, and I'll make and I'm always willing to do that. I don't like to volunteer it. This is what I do for a living. This is how I make my living. But when I'm involved with you, I'm going to do anything and everything. I'm going to pull all my resources. I'm going to pull favors. I'm going to do whatever it takes. If we hit a speed bump, we hit a bump in the road, or if we've got a hurdle, I'm going to get involved with you. I'm going to pull favors. I'm going to pull connections, and we're going to make it happen. We're going to get it done, whether we're buying or selling. I'm going to get involved and get in the trenches with you, and probably lead you through the trenches. And we're going to fight till we win. And I'm going to take my fiduciary duty seriously because it's who I am anyway. Even if I didn't have to have a fiduciary duty to my clients, I would, because I've got to put my clients first before me, before everything, and get to the finish line and do everything I can for them. And hopefully when it's all said and done, I get a paycheck, but if not, we'll make it up on the next one because I'm going to do such a good job for you that you might owe me one. You might owe me a referral or something.
Right.
Another deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You referrals from the people that you refer this business out to?
That's 100% what I do. I'm a referral only business. I get phone calls all the time of companies offering me leads, and I don't want them. We touched a little bit on this the other day, but it's you choose who you work with, and even if I end up working, and I've had a few, but even if I end up working with somebody that I don't enjoy working with, we still get to the finish line. We still get the job done. But I've worked with people that, every turn in the road, they expect something to go wrong, and then something does go wrong. Right. So I feel like they're just creating more hurdles for me to fight through. And then everything ends up being way harder than it should. Everything is a battle. They're not 100% trusting my ability to lead them through the transaction and get to the finish line. And a lot of times they'll put up roadblocks for me, and I fight through it and I get it done. And when I'm done, I'm like, holy cow, we are done. And I hope I never have to deal with them again. And then what happens? I get 3 phone calls with their friends wanting to do business with me. And I'm like, I don't want to do that because they're going to introduce you to 3 more people just like them. It's just like working with the great people that end up being lifelong friends. You don't want to work with the people that are constantly always negative and putting up roadblocks and, don't trust you. And, it's no fun. So I don't want those. I don't want that business. I don't want those referrals. I don't want to work with people like that. I try to spend a little bit of time with them before we start working together. But the cool thing about a referral only business is I'm surrounded by great, positive people that we're like-minded. And they just want to help people and love everybody and give everyone the benefit of the doubt and 100% honest. And like, that's my circle. That's my sphere. So anyone that's like that, welcome to my sphere. But anyone else, it's like they say, one bad apple ruins the bunch. And I've got
Hmm.
no bad apples. I don't want any. Bad apples aren't allowed. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I've had people that you get
Does
around
that?
people and they're just negative and they talk about people. Well, mysteriously, I don't talk to them anymore. I don't answer their phone calls. I don't call them. It's just, I don't need that. I don't want it. But helping people and just, and everybody can build their network group. They've got all these network groups that you can join and sign up and go to these groups, but you can build your own. Just let the people know that are in your group, and the people that you trust and the people that help you. You got to tell them every once in a while. Sometimes I don't do it enough, but every once in a while I'll reach out to somebody and say, hey, I just appreciate your friendship. I appreciate our relationship, our professional relationship. And, let's keep this going. And, it's
Mhm.
great because we all keep each other busy. They're referring their real estate deals to me, and I'm referring my, people to the car lots.
Yep.
I mean, I've
Yep.
got. It's pretty cool though. The more you know, the more you can help people, and the more you build, and it's wonderful. I've got a friend that just passed away, and his wife came to me and said, "Hey, we've got this vehicle that we really need to sell. Um, can you please help us?" So right now I'm in the process of having another dealership buy their vehicle. And the cool thing is, the way it works is I bring the car I detail the car, have it detailed at my detail shop. So we're giving them business. And then I take the vehicle to the dealership that wants to pay a fair price for it. And I take
Uh,
the vehicle to the dealership, and then I call my clients and say, okay, this dealership will buy your car. Just go by there and do the paperwork with them and finish the deal with them. And they always say, what do I owe you? And you don't owe me anything. You're going through a lot. It's between you and them. All I did is put these two connections together. And what that did is that client or a friend, which they're all the same, but that client now that was stressed out and in a bind having this vehicle that they don't need, it just tightened us up, made our relationship stronger, built the trust. And the dealership that got the vehicle that they can use and sell, it built that trust with us. And now these folks, it built trust between them and that dealership. So it works like that. It's not, no, I don't need any money. It's, I have a job. I make my money in real estate, but I'm building relationships. I'm a relationship builder, and I'm put people
yep.
together. And now that you know them, they know you. You can help each other, and you can build on your relationships. But I mean, as long as you're good people and you get around other good people, I mean, you can almost whatever whatever you do or whatever your skills are or whatever you enjoy, you can help people with that or you can share that. You know,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And people appreciate that. And then it comes back to you. So
yeah, it
taking
works for
care of people.
yeah, just builds the strength to the group.
Absolutely.
Just yeah.
Absolutely. Why are you passionate about what you do, Jason? What is it about real estate?
Well, the cool thing about real estate is that I am truly improving people's lives. I mean, I am whether
Hmm.
it's just giving them a comfortable, safe home to live in. Obviously, the real estate market in Colorado, whether it's a great market or a not so great market, um, home ownership builds wealth. Period. You know, so
Yep.
every time I sell someone a house, whether it's an investor buying an investment property or a first time home buyer buying their first home or someone buying or building their dream home, um, it's uh, it's very rewarding, and I know that I'm improving their life. Increasing their financial portfolio,
Hmm.
and I know how to do it, and I'm good at it. I'm an investor myself. So whether you're buying a property, and I keep saying home, but I work in land, commercial, all that as well. But I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to get you in something that's going to make your life better. I've talked to a lot of people. Um, I've showed houses before, and I've had clients that say, "Oh, I love it. This is wonderful." And I say, "Yeah, I think we can do better. Like let's keep looking." And
Yeah.
sometimes they're like, "Well, I don't mind these big heaving cracks in the basement floor. I can live with that. I don't mind. And my response would be, yeah, but we can do better. Let's pass on this one and let's find something better. I think I can do better for you.
Yeah.
And
people appreciate that
again,
honesty.
I just focus on what's best for my client. And sometimes they don't know what's best for them. And I'm able to educate them and open their eyes to other options. And I love it that people trust me and let me help them, because it's frustrating to me sometimes when I'm not the one that's running the show and they don't end up doing as well as I think they could have. So yeah, I mean, I enjoy helping. I really, truly enjoy helping people. I mean,
hey, Jason, I
yep.
I lost you for a second. My internet went out.
Okay.
So let's rewind, and I'll just have I have a virtual assistant that edits this, and I'll just have him cut out this little snafu.
All right. No, I was just, I enjoy helping people. I like to be in control when my friends are involved, and my clients are my friends. I mean, if I don't want to work with you, I'm not going to work with you. I'll fire a client in a heartbeat. I've done it before, and it does not hurt my feelings.
Well, I loved what you said when we were talking off camera about how, people attract the same kinds of people as what they are. So if you move forward with that client that you don't connect with, or doesn't have respect for you, or isn't someone you want to work with, they're going to probably refer people like them.
Yeah, they'll still refer. They'll still refer because you get the job done. And it wasn't, even though if it wasn't fun, you still get to the finish line, you get the job done, and they can't believe that you did it. They're shocked that you did it, but then they refer you more people that are like them that I don't want to work with. So I mean, It is, you want to find people that you align with. You want to be around the positive people, and yes, good people surround themselves with other good people. They weed out the toxic.
Well, when it comes right down to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they weed it out.
And when it comes down to
it.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You go ahead.
I was going to say, when it comes down to it, we want to enjoy what we do. And I think a lot of people have fear of actually firing a client, because especially in times like this, when it's a little bit leaner, they don't want to fire a client. But if you let them into your business and your life, that could lead to not enjoying the business as much and having people that you don't want to work with.
That's true. Yeah. It's important that you keep it fun. I mean, it is a very stressful process, whether you're buying or selling. It is naturally stressful. So the most that I can do to alleviate that stress is just keep everything fun and keep it going smooth, and kind of let your clients know what to expect and what's next, so there's no surprises. And just do everything I can do in my power to keep everything on track and keep everything going smooth. And another thing that I don't do is I try not to give my clients bad news. If I get bad news on the other side of the deal, first thing I try to do is solve the problem, or at least have a solution before I call my client. And, a lot of I've had clients that are like, "Hey, you're not telling me what's going on all the time. You're not giving me updates all the time." And it's like, well, let me explain myself better. This is where we're at in the process, and this is what's going on. But what people don't realize is a lot of times your realtors are fighting for you, and lenders are fighting for you and going to bat for you, and climbing mountains and jumping hurdles and doing all these crazy things to keep the deal on track. My clients never know. I don't even tell them what we went through. I just fix it. If I can fix it, I fix it. I get everyone involved that I need to get involved. And I don't call them and say, guess what I just did? Holy cow, you won't realize what we just did. And it's kind of, at the end of the day, everything in the transaction goes smooth. They might not remember you until they hire another agent on the next deal. And then they're like, oh my gosh, like, what is all this? What's, those emotional roller coasters, that part of our job is to, manage emotions and exceed expectations. We don't want to call them every time something goes wrong. Now, sometimes they have to get involved, but the goal is to get to the finish line as quickly and easily as possible. without stressing anybody out. So
That's right.
I do have a pretty calm demeanor, but I'm always trying to solve problems and keep everything on track. But
Mm-hmm.
that's what I do. That's what they hired me for. It's my job. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And if they don't know those things, sometimes that's better because
Well,
it's their
yeah,
perception of the process.
exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, they get through it and they're like, "Well, that was the easy money you made." And it's like,
Right.
"Yeah,
And they didn't see
yeah, sure."
they didn't see the 90% of things he did behind the scenes.
Right, right.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
never easy.
Yep. No. No.
Yeah.
If you could have a superpower, what would that superpower be?
Honestly, it sounds crazy, but it would be to recognize who needs what and be able to help them out. There's a lot of suicide going on.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of military here. And a lot of times you may have very close friends that are suffering, or people around you that are suffering, or people that need financial help that don't know how to ask for it. And whenever I lose someone from suicide, not that it happens all the time, but every once in a while, it's like, holy cow, what do you mean that happened? Everyone's natural reaction, the whole family and friends, everyone feels guilty and says, I could have fixed that if I would have just had him for dinner one more time, if I would have just talked to him one more time. I mean, there's organizations like Next Chapter Veteran Services, and their sole focus is to teach people how to recognize and prevent veteran suicide. And I would recommend anyone and everyone to call Next Chapter and say, can you please educate me and let me know how to recognize it if I have a loved one or a friend that needs help? How do I know who to help? It's even when you're pulling up to the stoplight downtown Colorado Springs and you've got vagrants there with their hands out. It's like, well, do you need it because are you lazy, or do you have mental disabilities that's preventing you from working? Am I enabling you? Am I stopping you from improving by giving to you?
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to have transparency to say, I can fix this whole world if I knew who really needed help and what they needed help with, and then I could teach other people how to do that.
Awesome answer. Do you know you mentioned that organization? Do you personally know some of the things that we could look for in people that could indicate they might be thinking about something bad, hurting
Yeah,
themselves?
yeah. Somebody says, if you ask your friend, "Hey, how you doing?" "Oh, I'm all right." That's a big sign.
Mm-hmm.
There's you go in their house and their house is messy. There's dishes in the sink from 3 days ago. Those are people that have pretty much given up and they don't care. And a lot of it is being lonely and not needed. A lot of it, and this isn't only the military. This is people that, a lot of times you get out of the military and your whole life is scripted and you know what to do and you have a plan, and then you get out and it's like, I don't have hundreds of people depending on me or thousands of people depending on me anymore. I was important. I was somebody. And now my phone's not ringing and nobody's coming over, so a lot of it is just simply paying people a visit and and when you get involved, you learn. But we get so busy that we don't pay attention to what's going on in the world. Everybody's busy
Mm-hmm.
looking at their phones and they're busy watching TV, and it's like, just get out there in the world. Go hang out at your neighborhood mailboxes. Just say hi to your neighbors. Wave and smile and say hi and just kind of talk to people. Because if you get involved and get out there and start talking to people, then you see what's really going on and who needs help. And and teach. I mean, there's a lot of I still I'll wear a suit and drive a nice car, and I'll see a young person on the side of the road sitting on a curb because their tire's flat. And I've done it several times where I'll pull over and if they're capable, I'll teach them how to change a tire. I'll say, hey, you're open your glove box, get your owner's manual. There's instructions on where your tools are, and let me walk you through it. And you're going to change your own tire. And I've done that, and I've taught kids how to change a tire. I've did the same thing for people that aren't able to change their own tire. Pull over and there's someone elderly and they don't know what to do, and they can wait 2 hours for AAA, or I could take 10 minutes out of my day and throw a tire on the car and instruct them on, H&H Tire really hooks me up on tires. Go ask for Paul or Aaron, and you're going to get the deal of a lifetime. Just mention my name, and it feels good to help people. And honestly, back to one of your other questions, that really is why I'm in real estate. I control my schedule. I dictate where I am and when I'm there. And honestly, I put time with my family on my calendar first. And after that's my schedule. My assistant knows that you look at my calendar, my family stuff first. Those are called appointments. So if someone wants to look at a house or have me come over to do a listing appointment at the same time that I'm picking up my daughter from school or, going to an event with my son, I have an appointment at that time. Reschedule it. Work around that. Work around my schedule. And what that also helps with is I always leave flexibility in my schedule. I always leave open time in my schedule. And if I run into somebody that could use a little bit of time and use some help, I'm probably going to stop and help.
Awesome.
I don't know. It's like we live in a crazy world, and the media's got everything going nuts, but you really could fix the world's problems if everyone just focused on themselves and did everything in their power to help everyone around them and share positivity and excitement of what the future has to come. Look forward to waking up in the morning and starting your day, and don't pay attention to all the crap around you and all the negativity, because when you focus on that, you feed it. So let's feed the good. If you want to feel good, if you're in a bad mood and you're feeling sad, do something nice for somebody. Bring a friend in need a meal, bring them flowers, just do something nice for somebody, and it's contagious.
That's a great little word of wisdom. I love
Thank you.
You make me think of the book, The Go-Giver. You know that book?
I never read that. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, you should definitely read that. That's remind me of the character in that book. Your giving spirit and connecting people, putting people together. It's just such a great aura that you have about you. So I really appreciate you taking the time to be on the show and share your perspective on the business and what you're doing to build your business.
Thank you. One last note. Just the way I live my life feeds my career. I don't look for clients. I never look for clients. I don't cold call. Don't really do any advertising. You do the right thing 100% of the time. People see that and they want a piece of it.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, thanks again, Jason. I know you're super busy, and
thank you.
To be able to spend some time with you has been super valuable for all of our listeners.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. And we can do it again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. How can people find you or follow you if they want to pick your brain or follow what you're doing?
Well, my name is Jason Ahrens, Arends. You can actually Google me and find me. You can go to peakproducers.com and type my name in. Or you can call me 719-964-0670. Or you can email me at jason@ascentteamco.com.
Thanks a lot, Jason. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Real Estate Agent Superstars. If you're looking to dive deeper into the world of real estate and catch more episodes, head over to our website at www.realestateagentsuperstars.com. Curious about today's guest? Explore our show notes on the website for more details. Before you go, don't forget to give us a 5-star rating and follow us on social media for the latest podcast updates. Thanks for tuning in.